Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, everyone's talking about Batwoman. And I would have about 3 hours ago, but I got a really bad migraine. I get the type where you get the flickering lights in front of your eyes. Took a pill, went to sleep for an hour, and woke up 3 or 4 hours later. So I'm a bit behind the game. But I did manage to listen to several other reviews from people, which is good because I haven't seen the episode. So just full honesty, I haven't actually seen a single episode of Batwoman, but I've been following the show since the start of the first season, and I've covered all the twists and turns without ever actually watching the show. But that's okay, because I'm not judging it, I'm not reviewing it, I'm just saying what's happening. And I will watch it. I watched the first season of Supergirl, loved it. Bought the other second and third seasons. I'm going to watch them, I think, this week. But I actually like the show. I like the CW shows. I don't understand why the fandom menace and YouTubers really hate those shows. The ones I've seen I liked. I watched the first season of The Flash, and I watched a few seasons of what was the other one? The Arrow. And I liked them. I didn't have any issues with them. And I don't quite know why people do. So I'm not here to trash the show, but the show is not doing well. It's really not doing well. The first episode of the first season of Batwoman got 1.86 million, which is really bad. Now, the CW doesn't have huge views. I think 2 or 3 is like the average for a decent show on that channel, kind of like UPN and WB. Before that, they became the CW, and they didn't really grow much, I don't think. So you don't expect big ratings from them. Like when Star Trek Enterprise was on UPN, it only got about 2-3 million, and Smallville, I think, only got 2 or 3 or 4 million, maybe. I need to go back and do my history. I lived through it all. I should remember it all, but it's hard to remember all the numbers. But yeah, Supergirl got 13 million at CBS because it premiered on CBS, and then it went to the CW and dropped, I think, to about 6 million or something. Either way, it's continued to drop. It got a lot more viewers, and most of the Arrow shows got more viewers. So Batwoman was the worst premiere out of all of them, 1.86 million. That's really not good. It took about 8 episodes to get down to about 1 million. Then they had the Crisis on Planet Earth. That bumped up a little bit, but then it eventually dropped, and it ended off the season at 7.39 million. So it went under 1 million. Sorry, 7.39 million. So under 1 million. I think its Crisis bump was 1.7, so that was less than the premiere. Most of these results, most of these numbers are from other people. I have checked them in the past, and they sound right. Sorry, I just remembered them, but the real issue is what it was for this premiere for the second season, and it was 0.634 million, which has a 0.1 demographic. So out of the 663,000 people who watched, only about 1% was in the or 10% was in the demographic of 18 to 49-year-olds. So it's about 183,000 or something. Someone else has done the math, and I'm like, this is really bad, because that's the number. That's the age you want. You want 18 to 49. You want the young people to watch. Apparently, the young people matter. I've never quite understood that, frankly, because when I was young, I didn't have any money. My parents were buying everything, so I never understood why the media doesn't value older viewers. Like, I'm older now. I watch a lot of shows and I buy a lot of merchandise. If you look behind me, that's where they make the money. But apparently they think 18-year-olds who don't have any money, and if they do, they're just going to spend it on clothes and new phones. They're not going to spend it on what I've got. No. You want to sell merchandise? You market to actual fans who have been fans for life, who have a history of buying stuff because they have problems. That's why they keep buying stuff. I keep buying stuff. See, it's all behind me. I don't imagine anyone who produces any one of these shows is ever going to watch my video, but, this is what you want. You want me. You want me to watch your show, not 18-year-old kids who don't give a crap. Who they just care about, the latest. I don't know what kids care about anymore. I'm not even going to pretend to. The latest rap guy who's like, at the top of the charts, I just want to be him and look like him. I mean, I think that's still the deal. That's all people want, is to emulate a Kardashian and think they're one of them and maybe be as rich as one of them, be a designer or something. I mean, no young kid cares about superheroes. That's not who they look up to anymore. Sadly enough, I mean, teenagers, I'm not talking about little kids. Little kids still love superheroes. So you got to get the little kids and the adults that are buying stuff for them and buy stuff for themselves because they want to be a kid again or want to remember what it was like to be a kid. That's who they want to go for, but they don't care about us. They hate us. They actively hate us. They hate me. I've been told many times these shows are not made for me. I'm not welcome. Brie Larson made it very clear, and she had whole of Hollywood behind her. And that's why they don't get any of my money. You don't see any Captain Marvel behind me. No. Don't see any Discovery behind me. Well, I did buy one badge because I think the badges and the phases are actually really good. But that's the only merchandise I bought. And I'm not buying any merchandise if the show's cancelled and it can't help the show. Then I might buy a couple of bits and pieces because design-wise I like some elements of the show. If they were designed for a different show, it would have been different. But I'm digressing. I'm sorry, I'm crapping on. But yeah, it didn't do well in the ratings. And the Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a critic score of 83% and a 30% audience score. And I think it has dropped about 13% or something, somebody said. But I didn't look earlier, so I can't confirm what it was earlier. But yeah, last time I looked, it was 30%. It's just really bad. I mean, what happens in the episode, from what I hear, this is spoilers and speculation and secondhand information, but I've heard it from everyone. Basically, they did a bad job of representation. Instead of finding a quality black lady, they have a criminal, a former drug dealer or possessor. She was done on possession because she had someone else's drugs, I think, but either way, she kept them. She doesn't appear to have an addiction problem like they were saying she did before, when they were talking about the show before. But it's kind of like Michael Burnham, where, they have this supposed representation example of a great black woman, and what does she do? She mutinies her crew, gets her captain killed, starts a war, goes to jail, and then the next episode she's in a jumpsuit. I mean, wow, that's who I'd want to look up to if I was like a young black girl. So now we have this character who, she at least, she talks to a plant and puts the seatbelt in the front of the van around. Like, you can't hate someone who puts a seatbelt around a plant in a van. I mean, I've got a sense she might turn out to be a decent character. People are implying that she's able to emote, unlike Ruby Rose. I think the reason why I followed the first season was because of Ruby Rose. She's an Australian actress, and I kind of find her cute as a girly boy. I don't really like girls, but I don't know, I just found her interesting. I was hoping she'd be successful in the show, but she couldn't take it. It was too much work. She quit. She didn't exactly leave a good taste in the mouth of the producers, apparently, but that's all rumour and speculation. We haven't been able to get to the bottom of that. But there was no love lost when she left. And instead of rebooting the series and giving us something fun, because that's what we want. We want a fun show. We want fun criminals. We want adventure. We want a good time. But instead they're like, no, we have to push politics. We have to have a black lesbian for political reasons, not for any artistic, creative reasons, but just for political reasons. And I'm just thinking, with the whole drama about how, she's so groundbreaking, I'm like, not really. Because I remember once upon a time, a long time ago in the 60s, when race actually was a problem, like a serious problem, when people were being lynched, for God's sakes. And the civil rights movement was barely, I think it had just made a few achievements, but they still had a long way to go. Catwoman, who was a white actress, Julie Newmar in the series, and a white actress in the film. I'm forgetting her name. Damn, I'm so sorry. She was also in one episode of Star Trek. Oh, I should know her name. She was replaced by Eartha Kitt. Why? For political reasons? No, because Eartha Kitt was the best choice, and nobody cared, and it was brilliant, and she was the best Catwoman, and nobody cared. It wasn't because she was black that they did it. It was just because she was Eartha Kitt, and she was awesome. 40, 50 years from now, later, it's all political, and it's just not working, and no one who's supposed to watch this show the young people, the people who are supporting Black Lives Matters and into the politics and gender politics and intersectional feminism, all this stuff that they're engaging in, pushing and promoting, they're not watching. They don't care about superhero shows. They're not the type of person who would watch this show and buy the merchandise. And the people who are, they're alienating by targeting another audience and telling them specifically, like myself, that you're not welcome, it's not made for you, and that we're a bunch of racist, sexist, homophobic trolls and istophobes, and we're not wanted. We're the old guard. They want to get rid of us and replace us with what? Nothing. That's why the show is not rating. If all these, like the whole build it, they will come, they've built it and they have not come. Now, I don't have any problem with a black woman being in the show. I've seen a little bit of the actress and it does seem like she might actually be able to act, and I hate to admit it, but Ruby is not the warmest, cuddliest actress. She doesn't seem to be able to emote. She seems to have one of those faces that doesn't express emotion. I hate saying that because I do like her, but I haven't seen an example of her acting besides just being this persona of like the hard, tough, sort of girly boy, lesbian, sort of that stereo. She's more of a stereotype than a character. Kate Kane, no, that's not the name. Oh, God. I know the name of the actress. I've forgotten the name of the actual character. Oh, God. I'm so bad. I will remind you, I just woke up from having a migraine 3 hours ago. I'm a bit foggy, actually. I should have waited before I did the video. But I just wanted to talk about it because it was just about numbers. I thought I can handle the numbers. So, yeah, it's down 64.35, 64%, basically. 64% it is down. There's just no making excuses for that. It's not rating. People aren't watching. The people who were the audience have been alienated, and the new people they're catering to don't care. This is not a good business method, business plan. This is not a good design for your show. Just make a fun action series with scary villains, fun villains so they don't scare the kids too much, and just give us a good, entertaining show. Let the diversity and all those things just be organic. Just colorblind cast and, be open-minded, but pushing things so obviously, it just turns people off. Why can't they get this? And it's happening in so many shows, because even people like me who are like gay guys who collect toys and aren't racist, sexist, homophobic, old white straight men, I'm not one of those guys, and I still look at this show and it's just so on the nose. I haven't looked at Batwoman, but I mean some of the other shows that people are complaining about, I'm agreeing with most of these old racist, sexist white guys, because even though they're old racist, sexist white guys, they're telling the truth most of the time. They've got an agenda, they've got an angle, and if you look past that and just look at the facts, they don't have to make anything up, sadly. And that's the saddest part about a lot of these shows and a lot of the politics that's going on, is that those people don't have to make up lies half the time. Most of what they're saying is true. They're just sort of putting it through their little set of blinders and presenting it to their base. But sadly, they're right about a lot of it. So I'm just going to go, because I can't believe I got 13 minutes out of this. I didn't even watch the show. But and I do want to watch the show, and I want to enjoy it. I've been scared to watch the last couple of seasons of Supergirl, because I heard once they went to the CW it got bad. Because I liked the first season. And I don't know if the people who are criticising it are just hating on it for the sake of it, or if the show actually got bad. And I don't want to be disappointed, but I'm going to have to watch it. I'm currently marathoning the original Wonder Woman from 1977. It's awesome. It's got some bad sci-fi in it, but, it was the 70s. They didn't have much money, and, Linda Carter was so brilliant, she just carried the show, even though they had some very, very silly episodes. But I'm loving it. And after that, I think I'm going to go straight into Supergirl, because I've been putting it off for a couple of years now. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of the show. I will watch it and do a review at some point, but I have no idea how to watch it in Australia. I don't know what channel it's on. What streaming service it's on. I was going to buy it on DVD. I tend to do watch stuff on DVD rather than stream, which does give me a bit of space to get some perspective on the show. So I usually get a few user reviews from people before I actually know what I'm getting, usually. But I'm going to go this time. Thanks. Bye.